Hi everybody, this is Kevin Eagleton and this is my digital reflection for Ed 530. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some of the tools that I use have used in my CP2, just to go over them and how I use them and how they've helped me in my growth. One of the main tools that I've used is Twitter, as most of you know, with a whopping 390 tweets. I think I'm a leader of the pack in that category, at least for CP2. I also use Socrative Teacher quite often in my classes. I use my website. I have a class website that I use for both geography and my government class. I use my Digo quite heavily in researching my lessons that I do. In my geography class, I literally had to just create my Africa lesson. It was a 2-week Africa lesson from scratch. My CT did not want me to use the books, so I had to research and create lessons from scratch, and Digo played a huge role in that and keeping everything organized. I use Prezi quite a bit for my lectures, although after surveying students, I've been going back and forth between Prezi and the PowerPoint, because some of the students really do prefer the linear aspect of PowerPoint versus the Prezi, so I do go back and forth on those. So I'll start with Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is a pretty good tool to use for networking. In my research for my Africa unit, I did post to the social studies chat area and got a few responses back on tools and ideas that I could use. And although I didn't use any of them, it was nice to know that that resource was out there, just in helping me gain some information and possibly some other avenues and some other tools to use. So that was quite helpful. I use Socrative Teacher quite a few times a week in my government class. I don't use it in my geography classes, and the main reason I don't use it in my geography class is that the students in that class are I don't think I can transition them quickly enough back and forth between having their phones out. They're just, and maybe that's a classroom management issue that I need to work on, is getting them to the point where I feel I can do that. Government class, it was very easy. It works out great. It's a great assessment tool at the end of a lecture or lesson. I have quizzes that I've done. You can see I've got who's Mr. Eagleton, 2-party lecture quiz, voter behavior, measuring public opinion. I did a quiz on mass media, and that's just a few of them that I have done. So works out great. The students really get engaged with it. They like being able to whip their phones out and use them. And it's a great feedback tool for me because I get instant feedback. You got a live feedback window, or you can download reports to view. It gives you points where you know that you need to go back and recover things that you've been able to hit well. It shows you those. So it's really a great feedback tool for the teacher. I do use a class website for both of my classes, much more heavily in my government class. As my geography class doesn't have books at home, I don't post assignments that they're going to do at home or anything like that, because they don't have the ability to do homework at home. So I do use it quite heavily for my government class. I post announcements, or I'm going to be posting announcements here pretty quick. I haven't been doing that, but I post all my assignments here. That way they know exactly where to go, and I put links. I've had them use Google Docs for a couple of things, which worked out really well for both them and me. I do have a calendar that they can refer to so that they can see exactly what we're going to be doing as it comes up. That seems to work out well. They seem to come to class a little more prepared with that. Here is I called it my presidential Google Doc, because basically each student had to research and give me a list of their top 15 presidents of all time. And they had to give me the name, which president they were, the party, and the reason that they thought they were one of the top 15 presidents. And that worked out really well. It made it easy for me to grade, and I took the information from what they gave me, and I'm putting together a test, and they'll have to give me the information on 10 of the top 15 that were submitted. So it was a good class participation lesson, and they had basically they had say in what they're going to be tested on, and they all felt that was pretty good. I also post my lectures on here so that they can go back and look at what's been covered. I'm also going to be taking my assessments directly from the presentations so that they know that if it's not covered in a lecture or presentation, that it will not be tested. So it gives them a little more comfort in knowing where to go get the information that they need to study. And I've done the geography. Also, I've got some assignments posted, and they can go and they can download things and work on them if it's something that they can do at home without a book. So that's worked out pretty well. One of the best things that I've been able to utilize is the DIGO, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, but for my research for the Africa unit, it was really good because I could just tab it, list it as Africa, and I knew all the things that I was going to need for that unit would be right there and easy for me to find. Waiting for it to come up. Looks like DIGO may be having a problem or two. Anyway, I think you guys are pretty familiar with it. It is a great resource. I'm using it for this next lesson, or next unit that I'm doing on India. Same thing. YouTube videos are great. I used a lot of YouTube because it had video information for them, the audio information, and they really seem to enjoy that. So it was another tool that I used quite often. Prezi. I enjoy Prezi quite a bit. I like using it. I like the motion aspect of it. I think it keeps the students' attention. But with that, I've also done a couple of surveys with them, just impromptu, about what they like. And like I said earlier, there were a number of them that preferred the PowerPoint. They felt it made it easier for them to keep track of their notes, and it made things a little easier as far as being linear and more direct as to the relationship between things, where the Prezi is a little more artistic. Those are their words. A little more artistic in that it's harder to keep things situated. So those are really the main tools that I am using. I think they all play a very important part for me as a teacher, because it helps me to keep track of what I'm doing as far as the DIGO library. It helps me organize things. The assignments, it helps my students, or the web page helps my students stay on top of what's expected of them. It's also a way for them to communicate with me. Each one of my header pages has a contact form, and I've told them, if you have questions, you can contact me basically day or night almost through the webmail. And I have received a couple of emails from students with questions regarding whether they can't complete an assignment because there's a web issue or Socrativ's not working. So it just gives them that little peace of mind that they can contact me. Socrative, again, great tool, a great assessment piece, and it gets the students engaged. And lastly, Twitter. I was probably one of the more anti-Twitter people at the beginning of the course or the semester, but I've really kind of come to, I don't know, I certainly wouldn't say I love it, but I've certainly embraced it, both as a professional tool and as a social tool, and just kind of keeping in touch with some of the other people in the cohort, and it's just kind of a nice way to keep that contact going. So all in all, I think it was a good semester as far as the technology aspect. Certainly have gained a lot of information and knowledge, and a lot of tools that I will be able to use in the future. And that's about it.